You're listening to Paul Anderson. This is the Sideshow Podcast.
How's everybody doing? It's been a while. So I'm back. This is the Sideshow Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Anderson. It's been a couple weeks, 5 in fact, and it's been a while. The show has been really good. I've just been planning a lot, and it's been having its ups and downs, but hey, I'm here, and I'm pretty stoked on it. Just a quick little overview about what's been up with me. The holidays have been coming up really quick. Had a great Halloween, and we just had a great Thanksgiving. It was really nice. Spent some time with my family and my fiance. It was awesome, and it was really cool, honestly, to be able to sit down and spend some time with my family. It was nice, and not be working all the time. So, yeah, it was cool. Got to do that. I've been booking a lot of great guests for the show, and it's been a lot of work, but I finally brought one to you, and this one is actually in particularly really good because it's a band that I've been listening to pretty much from the beginning, and it's the band HANDGUNS. I'm talking with their lead singer, Taylor, who, in my mind, is amazing. He was such a cool dude to talk to. We just finished up talking, and honestly, this is a special interview because the band has been through its ups and downs, and we really addressed that, where things have been, it's never been so steady, and I guess that's the way they've been operating. And they're back actually with their original lineup, what's cool about that to me is that, these guys have been working hard since day one, and you can tell, he's stoked on it, and he's just doing this now. It has nothing to do with money, which is cool. It doesn't have a label to really answer to. He's gonna make music that he wants to write that has meaning behind it, and he's super stoked on. And such a cool dude. And I think talking with Taylor, he's gonna be a really good friend and definitely somebody I can bounce some ideas off of. And he's a smart dude when it comes down to it. We talk a little bit about his script writing, which he has tons of ideas that he's been writing, and it's really cool to hear about. And he's gonna share with everyone listening to the show today. So I hope you all enjoy it because I really enjoyed, partaking in this interview, and it was fun. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy. I do want to throw some things out there. Keep an eye out on my Instagram page. The Instagram page is Sideshow PC. I do have some merchandise coming out. I've been doing what is called T-Blaster, which pretty much T-Blaster is I'm going to put a design out there. I do my own artwork, and I have been posting t-shirts and hoodies. The pre-sales, they have a little bit of a time limit. You grab them when you can, and I pretty much set these things as low as possible, whatever the website allows me to, and it's for you guys to really enjoy. So I have the first one I did, it was kind of a little bit of a test run, and I'm pretty stoked on it. It's the logo that is behind me right now. And I have a few others. I mean, it's a couple originals I did where, I have a Homer Simpson and some good stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. You can follow me actually on Instagram. My Instagram is BUD53189. And yeah, just follow me there and check out what's been going on. I always post, and I give everybody a fair deadline. And I'm going to try to get one up actually pretty much now. When this episode drops, you'll have a live link on the website. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I honestly fucking hate Twitter, so I'm not really down with it. But I put my stuff out there just so, fuck it, my grounds are covered. So I have a Twitter account. I really stick to both Facebook, my Facebook page, and my Instagram page. The Instagram page has been really good, and honestly, my Facebook page has been really good. So if you guys want, just follow me there. The links are in the page. I'll be posting them really soon, so you guys can check them out. I'm pretty stoked on the designs that are going to be coming out, and yeah. So I don't want to fucking ramble. I ramble too much, but I am pretty stoked on it. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is my talk with Taylor from Handguns, and I hope you all enjoy. And until next week, peace.
Give me the whole truth. Give me your best excuse. 'Cause I just wasted my last wish on. Give me enough rope to hang myself with. And lately I've been looking down. It could be because that it's getting colder, that I'm getting older. And I watch the trees as they all lose their leaves.
People, it can be like, being married, and sometimes you just gotta take a little break from each other. But I think after that happened, we kind of realized like nothing was going on, and it's like none of us really ever want to stop playing music, and we will never stop playing music because that's just I don't want to say it's in our blood because I feel like that's like really pretentious of me to say, but Jake came to me with the idea because we got asked to play that 4-year strong show back in April, and we were like, fuck it, yeah, let's just play these 2 EPs and see what happens.
Yeah.
And just that night we played together just felt natural, it felt right. It felt like we were doing it for the first time again.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were all a little nostalgic about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think would be the correct term. So no, it's cool. Like, I mean, as far as touring goes, we don't have any plans for like any full-time touring or anything like that. We are going to go into the studio at some point to either do like a 7-inch or an EP, but we're kind of just taking it slow. And again, like all of us have full-time jobs now, so it's kind of hard to, if we were to, start touring again, it'd be kind of hard to balance that schedule out.
Oh, for sure. And I guess that's a big deal. I mean, touring is always, it's not about the money at this point, which I think is like, a lot of times, like talking with bands on the show, touring is kind of like a way to make ends meet. But for you guys, like you said, you have a full-time job, and at this point, is it safe to say that it's not about money at this point? Now this is just about having a good time with your friends.
Right.
And I love it, and I think that's cool. But I think the big thing, like, I mean, how did the conversation really get going? I mean, I know there's on record, like, I guess you didn't really talk with the other guys for quite some time, and there was a lot of disconnect. How did the conversation get started?
As far as like the original lineup getting back together?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, for some reason we got asked to play that 4-year strong show, and Jake had called me and was like, "Hey man, do you want to do this?" I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, like why not?"
Yeah.
It wasn't really any more in depth than that. I mean, we didn't sit down and have like a long discussion and all that stuff. We're just like you were kind of saying, we're all about fun. We just like to play music. We like to have a good time. We don't take ourselves too seriously. At least I like to think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, man, it wasn't. It wasn't anything more than, hey, we're getting asked to play this show. Do you want to play it? Yeah.
That's fucking
sure.
rad. I love that. That's cool though, because like it's. I think a lot of people kind of like always like kind of put you in like they always put Handguns in a really cool category. I mean, and I think one of the interviews that I read with you, or it was from your post, is like you're the cockroaches of pop punk, and it's like I guess that's like it's such a funny way to put it, because essentially, I mean, this band just never dies, and it's such a cool way, like I guess. I don't know. Best way to yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really cool.
Right. Yeah, it's with the whole never dies thing. I made a point and I didn't realize that I came up with a statement. I was like, yeah, we're like kind of the cockroaches of the pop punk scene, but I didn't, because I thought like cockroaches lost their heads and then they like grew them back, but that only happened for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make like this profound statement about it, and it just was like, oh.
Fucking rad.
Yeah, man, I mean, but, yeah, I mean, we're not going to stop playing ever. I mean, it doesn't feel like that until we're practically dead.
I like the fact that, like, you know, you guys now there is word that you guys are going to be hitting the studio really soon and kind of putting pieces together. Are you guys looking at putting out a new EP, or are you guys looking at putting out a full length? Or are you still discussing?
We were kind of in discussion about that. I mean, I don't think we're going to do a full length just because that's a lot of songs to just blast out at you know, a bunch of people, you know, right away when we've been gone for a while. We kind of wanted to do like a 7-inch or maybe an EP just to kind of give, I guess, listeners an idea of what kind of how the sound's going to be, I guess.
That's a way to look at it. I mean, it's kind of giving everybody a sip of, like, you know, what to expect, really. Right.
Well, yeah. Watch. It's gonna be a record just filled with didgeridoos and nothing else.
And it's cool because from what I understand too is, like, you guys are gonna be pretty much it's almost like a DIY. I mean, it's not a DIY label. You guys it's one of your members. He has his own label, and you guys are gonna pretty much self-release it through that.
Right. Yeah. It's not a label. It's more so a collective.
Okay.
Jake's got all the info on that. He runs that. He's got a tent. He's had a tent on Warped Tour the past couple of years for that. But basically, and this is coming from me, you would have to ask Jake about the whole thing because he's better at explaining that. And but from, you know, the I guess the vibe that I get from it is it's, you know, he's influencing younger bands and, you know, people who want to get involved in the music scene to go out and work, I guess, for what they need, as opposed to, like, you know, relying on the internet or with the internet being so prominent, it's very easy to get your band noticed. That's, you know, that's what's the word? That's no question about it.
Yeah.
We just come from a background of where we booked our own tours. We ate shit for the longest time. We've seen and done some shit to get to the point that we're at. And we've had some fucked up experiences or whatever, you know, getting to that stature, I guess. But it was totally worth it. And going through all that, I mean, we had some of the best times of our lives. And I think, again, you know, Jake's trying to emphasize that point of, you know, go out and work for your shit, pay your dues, pretty much.
No, I get that. That's awesome. And it's funny because, like, you know, you said the power of the internet and stuff like that is, like, that's exactly how I honestly learned about handguns from day one. You know, just a simple, honestly, it was a simple GIF, just with one of the lines from your song, and I thought it was very I thought it was very clever. Thought it was awesome, and I just simple Google search and Handguns popped up, and the rest is history. You know, it was something like that. And it's funny because you mentioned Warped Tour, and obviously, like, now, you know, they've made the big announcement that Warped Tour in 2018 will be the last traveling one.
Right.
I mean, I guess for bands, I guess at your for you guys, it's like, you know, Warped Tour was a kind of a big deal because it really helped promote your band getting across the country.
Yes.
It was such a big deal.
100%.
How did you respond, I guess, initially when Kevin made the news public that Warped Tour was kind of calling it quits?
I mean, I don't want to say I was honestly surprised. I wouldn't say, like, I was shocked. Like, it's definitely, like, you know, it's a big part of, again, like you were saying, why this band kind of, again, got to where we were at. And you know, it sucks. Like, it was the only place, and I made, like, an Instagram post about it when it happened. And basically, I was saying, you know, it was like one of the only tours where, like, I've seen all my favorite bands, you know, congregate together and just get to go watch them play, and then, you know, afterwards just hang out and eat food, and, you know, drink beers. So definitely sucks that it's over, but I'm sure, you know, Kevin Lyman, he's got a lot on his plate with that, and he's been doing it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird that he didn't. Is this? I think it's 24 years or something. I think he stopped before the 25 year anniversary. So it's kind of weird that he didn't go up to 25. But it's still like the tour, like a tour in that size to have that running for so long. I mean, it's a lot of hard work he's put into that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one of my favorite things in the world. It was heartbreaking, I guess, from a fan standpoint too. I mean, my first one I went to was back in 2007, and I mean, I've talked a lot about it on the show. I love it. It was one of my it was one of those things, you go to every year, and you can't help but be a little, now I guess I feel like Kevin isn't the type of person just to leave the fans, pretty much in the wind, like, leave them out there out to dry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there could be a different incarnation in some way. He did kind of mention that it's not, the Warped Tour brand will live on and all that, but
right.
It really makes you wonder, like, from in the music, not just the music scene, like a local scene or anything like that, but on a bigger level, like what efforts are going to be made, I guess, to really help, or what's the next step, I guess, now that, Vans Warped Tour is it is going away. How will bands really try to get themselves out there? Because the internet's only really going to take you so far. And Warped Tour.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that point. I mean, there might be some kind of tour. I don't know. Like, yeah, you're making a good point with that question, because I didn't even think about that. And you're right. I mean, the internet can only get you so far. And I mean, I guess with that, the best thing to do would be to have your band to get bigger support tours with bigger headliners.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, they have these, like, I guess, smaller festivals. They have festivals overseas, like Slam Dunk Festival. It's kind of like, it's like the UK's Warped Tour. And then, I mean, you have stuff like Rock on the Range. And I mean, I've never been to Rock on the Range or anything like that, but I guess, it depends on, I don't want to say your scene, like your quote unquote scene, but your scene and, what style of music you're playing. And because, I mean, with pop, all you have to do is, write a catchy hook and then go with the producer and
slap a nice
have
backtrack.
somebody. Exactly. And then, next thing you know, I think if bands trying to get to the level that Warped Tour would put you on, I feel like, I mean, basically just, and I hate saying this, basically just knowing the right people.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to get your band to that stature, or if you want to take the old school route like we did, tour your ass off, book your tours, and work for what you want.
I agree. I mean, one of the things I think I think the tour could move into is picking up. I mean, it could refill in the shoes of what the Bamboozle once was. And for people that are not familiar with what the Bamboozle was, they had Left and Right, which was, California and New Jersey. And I knew about, I never actually been to the Bamboozle, but I couldn't wait to see the lineup and who was on that lineup, because they had big names to little names, and there was a shit ton, and it was 3 solid days. I think that the Bamboozle, I mean, obviously it's a lot of work, and I think, but I think it's a lot less work if you think about it. 3 days, left and right, or you could do, left, right, north, and south, or whatever it might be. But you could, and you could actually separate it where it's like, all right, we have this event on this day for 3 days, fucking 3 months later, boom, there and that. But they could pick up in that sense, and it could still help. I mean, you could jam out so many people, and I mean, the money wouldn't be, obviously, you could line up sponsors, because Bamboozle never did. I think, I forget what the reason why the Bamboozle did go away. I think it had to do with ownership and whatever it might be, but I feel like that would be a really good incarnation of the Warped Tour in a way, but you wouldn't obviously call it Warped Tour at that point. But I love the Bamboozle. I had a lot of respect for what that once was. I don't know. Did you guys ever actually get to play the Bamboozle?
Did we do Bamboozle?
Yeah.
No, we never did.
Nah.
No. The way basically we kind of were even, I guess, considered or sought after on Warped Tour was in 2000. Well, I mean, before I even joined Handguns in 2009, our guitar player Jake Langley was following the tour, selling CDs, and then we did it the next year when I was in the band, and that's actually how we ended up getting signed to Pure Noise Records. That's where we met Jake around. We would literally just go out and hustle his CDs every day.
That's badass.
And eventually we got wristbands to get in. So then we were able to, in our EP, Anywhere But Home, we self-released that. So we were selling that on that tour and just, walking up to random kids and be like, hey, do you want to listen to this?
I remember seeing you guys play on the Warped Tour in one of those years, and you guys were fantastic.
Thanks, man.
And one of my favorite things, I guess, about your band is like now you've kind of done it from both sides of the spectrum. You've been on Pure Noise Records, I think is a fantastic label. They've definitely made a lot of moves in the past couple of years, and they're great. I think they're a great label. I have a lot of respect for them. But on the other side of the spectrum, you're now, like, you guys have been on the DIY side of things, self-releasing records, and I guess, like, for you guys, like, what I don't want to say what do you prefer, but I guess, like, what sort of I guess does it help you pick your expectations, like, kind of challenge yourself a little more rather than having like maybe like seeking the approval of a label? You're now seeking the approval of you and your peers.
Right. As far as that goes, I'm way more keen to the DIY side because it's definitely a lot of pressure, being under labels. I mean, and I'm not naming names or anything, but I mean, I've had people saying, hey, from labels and stuff, like, hey, you got to cut your hair, or you got to wear this, or you got to do that. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
There was one year I grew some questionable facial hair and I looked like Rickety Cricket from It's Always Sunny, but I didn't give a fuck. Like that doesn't just because I have an ugly ass beard essentially doesn't make the message of our music any different. And that's the thing with Handguns. We were never a band that's about image. It's about, I've always said I hate vocalists that basically write lyrics just to make it fit inside of a melody, because my point's always been, if you don't have something to say that's either productive or motivational or something like that, or of any value, then why the fuck are you saying anything at all?
I agree, and I think that's why I grasped so hard to Handguns, especially there's the song I Hope He Kills You, or yeah, I Hope He Kills You. That's the song, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a song that really grasped my attention toward, and it was like one of those records that's one of those songs where it's like you really had something to say at that point, and especially about in that song, and it's like, you had a fucking point to make. And that's what I like about that song, and that's what I like about your band, is because when you're listening to a song, it's not just one song where it's like I'm trying to make a point. It's literally song after song of gold where it's like, you have a lot on your mind. And I guess that's a good question, is like, has music been probably like one of the best outlets, I guess, when it came down to stress?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always been all of our therapy essentially. And instead of putting a fist through a wall or something, you can go on stage and sweat all your aggression out and scream into a microphone or play guitar, beat the fuck out of a drum kit.
Has there ever been, like, I guess, a particular song that's always kind of stood out to you, like, it's probably one of your more, like, the most personal song that you put your everything into? Has there ever been a song?
I mean, every song that we've written is personal.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, as far as like the most personal, I mean, I there's a song for my grandmother when she passed away. We just wrote a song. Well, we didn't just write a song, but on Disenchanted, there's a song called "Bury Me." I didn't even think about it. And just the lyrics of that are super fucking dark. And with Disenchanted too, with that record, we were all about using the contrast of like having, upbeat music with really. I think during that record, I was in a very dark place in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like the most personal record for myself, since on Disenchanted, I wrote all the lyrics on that record.
Okay.
And again, that was around the time that, like I was saying earlier, labels were coming to me saying, you gotta do this and that for your image, and I was in a pretty bad relationship, and it wasn't a good time for me. The song "My Lowest Point," I mean, that's about that.
Mm-hmm.
And every song though has been super personal.
All right. That's definitely I know that's can be sometimes a tough thing, but it's good that, I guess like, when you're looking in this new record, that you, or a new EP or anything like that, has there any how would you want to describe the feel, I guess, now that you're writing again with your boys?
I mean, it's definitely going to be fast. It's going to be, I don't want to say the word throwback, but a little more old school Handguns, just straightforward, to the point, in your face, fun. It's going to make you want to stage dive off of a helicopter.
That's awesome. See, that's the thing I look forward to, especially where, I feel like the pop punk scene, I mean, and I say this with respect to anybody that's, especially if you're a future, guest on the show, but I feel like the music nowadays, like pop punk wise, it's gotten, I don't want to say generic because that's kind of fucked up, but I feel like, you listen to one band, it's the same as the next one. That's like,
yeah,
I don't like, oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to say,
you're good.
I was going to say, I feel like it's almost becoming a little too cookie cutter, but like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where your band definitely, like, for me, like when I was learning about Handguns, and the way I look at it as like, I feel like you guys really had your own, you kind of stood apart for a while, and then I felt like some bands, I don't want to say names or anything like that, but I started feeling like, this next band is all of a sudden now taking kind of like the same form or the same recipe that you guys are doing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing,
right,
but it's like, I can tell, like, you're looking at like what's going on, it's like, this has been, these dudes have been around a lot longer. What the fuck?
Right.
But,
yeah, I get what you're saying. It definitely became, or is, extremely oversaturated, but I feel like anybody could say that about any scene, whether it be like metalcore or fucking reggae, or I wouldn't say ska. Ska is
Scott's special.
yes, ska is its own thing. But no, I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah, and sure. I mean, I'm sure there's bands that have probably taken influence from us. If that's the case, that's cool. I'm flattered. If not, then maybe I think around that time, I mean, it was, everyone kept talking about the quote unquote pop punk resurgence, like, and I think we got, I guess, looped into that group, which was cool. But and it's funny you say that, because like I've been trying to listen to some of these newer bands just to give it a shot, and I'm not trying to sound like a dickhead or sound pretentious, but for my own personal listening experience, it doesn't really do much for me. It doesn't resonate with me as much as like when that Crucial Dudes record came out. It was fucking awesome. There's bands like there was this band from Massachusetts called Borderland that we played with a couple times. Great fucking pop punk band. They just sounded like Lifetime.
Yep.
Maker,
yeah.
All,
See,
so,
I get your point there. It makes sense. It's definitely like, for some people, I mean, like, I love all music, and I kind of get it. Like, it's not like when you first started, where it was like, you, and then like you started meeting up with all these newer bands that are around the same age as you guys, and it's like, things are definitely different, I feel, nowadays. I mean, everything's about a fucking resurgence. Like, I don't think pop punk honestly ever died. I think it did its own thing. I mean, you could say the same thing when, I guess, like Blink-182, Green Day, and fucking like any of those bands, when those guys started coming out. But pop punk's been around since like the Descendants, you know what I mean? Like bands like that.
Yeah.
It's like, people overlook that.
You could even you could even consider the Ramones a fucking pop punk band. It's
Totally.
punk rock with melody to it, and pop
Exactly.
sensibility. You know.
Exactly, and that's what I think it's like really about. It's like, you know, I feel like, and you could say the same thing. Like, I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time where it's like, you know, oh, like, and I always have a hard time doing this, but it's like, you know, you have bands like the Ramones, and they're a great band, and they've been around for such a long time. I mean, they were around for such a long time, but it's like, well, who would you consider today's Ramones?
Right. If I had to give, if somebody strapped me to a chair and said and gave me that question, or said, give me the answer to that question, or I'll take a knife to your throat, I would say Green Day. I feel like they're that would be my answer, but I'm not going on a limb to say that they are the new Ramones, but that's what I feel. If somebody asked me that question and I was like about to face death.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, it's tough because I feel like, you know, there won't ever be. I mean, and then it sucks to say, but like, there's never gonna be I don't know. Actually, can't say never because that's a good point. Like you said, you know, you could say like there would never be another Ramones, but then you have a band like Green Day, kind of lands it like,
right.
You know what I mean? But will there ever be another Green Day? Right now, I would my vote would be no. Not to be a pessimist, you know what I mean, not to be negative on it, but I don't think so. Not right now. But 20 years from now, the pop punk scene is going to look a whole lot fucking different with a generation that honestly isn't even born yet. So, and they're going to have ideas and influences. Like, I think that like bands like Handguns or like, you know what I mean? Like those smaller bands, like if you ask a lot of those guys from like the Ramones, they're going to name bands that none of us have even fucking heard of that influenced them. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those things that I always kind of look at. It's like, you know, even though you're the little guy, you're influencing a generation of future musicians that could definitely make things like could be a game changer, and it's really cool.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, and I've had people, you know, tell me something along the lines of that, you know, before. I mean, not going as bold as you said, so that was really cool of you. But yeah, man, who the fuck knows for the future?
Oh, for sure. So yeah, dude. I mean, me and you've been talking a little bit through text message and whatnot, and you've been telling me like in your free time you've been doing some writing. Tell me a little bit about that because I'm actually really interested.
My writing?
Yeah, dude. You've been doing script writing?
Yeah. So I mean, I always come up with these ideas and I scribble them down, and it never really comes into fruition. Because I sit there, I'm like, why the fuck am I writing this? Like, this has already been done before. But me and my friend Will, he's just a homie of mine. We had an idea for a pilot for a television show, and it was called Welcome to Paradise, and it was basically like Clerks meets It's Always Sunny. I mean, we were going to have this boss that was asleep all the time. And sorry if this is really dark.
It's all good.
This boss who was asleep all the time. And then one day he just like ate a piece of candy or something and choked on it and died. But all the customers that knew the boss knew that he always slept. So they didn't realize he was dead. So they just let him sit there to rot.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it.
And then like we were gonna do some stuff with like, I mean, we're still like talking about it. And then I think within the near future, I'm really into a lot of like travel shows, like, you know, Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain and, you know, all that stuff. So I came up with a concept, and I mean, it's not the most original concept, but I think it would be really cool to do. Like, I want to go to like my friends who are in different bands. I want to go to their hometown. And then I want them to, like, you know, show me around, show me the spots to eat, and, you know, do the whole travel thing, show me their favorite bars or whatever. And then at the end of the episode, I want their band to play a song.
Oh, that'd be fucking mint.
So I think it'd be cool.
Dude, I think that'd be an awesome show. I feel like something like Fuse should just pick up, honestly.
Dude, I wish Fuse, I would even want like Viceland to pick it up. That'd be sweet.
That'd be awesome. See, I think like that's one of those things, like, you know, I think with the power of technology nowadays, especially with like YouTube, I mean, but I think YouTube, like, you know, will only take you so far. But I think that would be I think that's a fantastic concept.
Yeah,
I would watch
definitely.
it. I would fucking watch it in a heartbeat. It's like, I listen to a lot of other podcasts, and the thing is like, you may not feel like it's original or whatever, but like
Right.
like the podcast I'm doing right now is like, there's a bunch of other ones out there, and I totally respect what they're doing, and it got me off my ass to do something that I love. So I totally respect that.
Sure.
And I love it, dude. I would fucking watch that in a heartbeat.
Thanks, man.
And I think a lot of
We'll see what happens.
I think, you know what, dude, honestly, I feel like that's the concept of that show is so good, like, and I think like, seriously, like, I think it's so good, like, it's a good way for, I guess, a lot of fans, like, really want to get to know and meet, like, the people that play in the music that they listen to. So I think, like, obviously, and I think it's a good thing too, because like with Warped Tour obviously going away, like, you don't get to meet your heroes, I guess, anymore. So it's like,
Right.
I think, like, I mean, I think that would be kind of a really cool idea where, you get that extra insight. I think that'd be fucking sweet, dude. You should do it.
You think so?
Totally, dude.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I talked to my buddy. He's in Columbia, South Carolina. He's got a band called Pet Peeves.
Pet Peeves?
And he used to play in that band Brigades. He was playing guitar for him.
Oh, no shit.
And yeah, but he's got his own thing now. His band kind of sounds like Weezer-ish. It's pretty good. Should check it out. But yeah, I talked to him. Yeah, I talked about him. Maybe going there and doing an episode or something like that in January. But like I said, nothing. All of my wacky ideas haven't come into fruition. And if you want to hear about some more wacky ideas, you got to talk to Jake. That guy fucking one time had an idea where he wanted to have 3 studios inside of a tree house, but there was going to be 3 tree houses, and the last one was going to have a diving board to a pool on it.
Oh my dear God. That's funny. A lot of oh my God, that's funny. So, dude, honestly, like, where you're at now, you have so much going on. Handguns is obviously back. You've been writing. I guess, what's next for you?
What's next for me? I mean, I'm working a full-time job. I work for a beer distributor. I'm trying to, kind of solidify myself in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a merchandiser. I'm trying to become a salesman.
There you go.
But I mean, right now I'm just kind of laying low and enjoying life. I have an apartment with my girlfriend. We just kind of veg out and chill out, and it's nice to, like, again, not be on tour all the time and be able to, like, go to places I want to see, where as opposed to when you're on tour, you can go to that place, you play there for a couple hours, and then you leave. Mm-hmm. So I have the opportunity to, go and kind of take in some sites and all that stuff when I want to. But, the band stuff's going on, working. As far as all that, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. That's awesome.
Sorry, it's funny. I'm getting a call in from Joe from Forever Came Calling.
Oh, no shit, really? I had Tom on the show actually in the very beginning. He was like one of my first...
Oh, did you?
Yeah, dude. Tom was the shit.
Nice. He's funny, man. He fucking cracks me up.
Dude, honestly, he was a good guest, and for people listening, you should totally check that episode out, because you learned a lot, and they have a lot coming on. They have a lot going on too. I mean, they have a new record coming out really soon. So
yeah, I'm excited to hear it.
I am too, actually. I was talking with when I was talking with John Ryan on the episode, their manager. He was telling me a lot about it, and he said it's something to look forward to. I say that, but I mean, the thing is though, there's so much good music now in my mind too, though. Like, there's so much good music out there.
Right.
What are you listening to right now? I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I was just curious.
Oh, you're good, man. You're fine. Right. As far as right now goes, I've been listening to this playlist that I created on Spotify. It's got this band from like the 90s called Farside. This band that has like members of Strung Out in it, excuse me, called The Implants. I've been listening to a lot of like older Polar Bear Club for some reason lately.
I miss them.
That band just was fucking sweet. What else is on that playlist? Banner Pilot. For some reason, a lot of like fest punk. I don't know why.
Like old NoFX or?
No, like dirty, crusty, like hot water music, punk rock.
Oh, no shit. Oh, wow. That's good stuff. Oh, man. That's good. I love it. All right.
So
I just got one more question, and I do this with all my
man.
I do this with all my guests on the show. It's a fucking loaded question. So, I hope you're ready.
Okay.
You're stuck on a desert island and you have to bring one record with you. What's that record and why?
I would not bring a single record with me. I would sit there and make my own music because you can only listen to one record for so long until you want to blow your fucking head off, no matter what record it is.
So you'd bring a guitar or something?
I wouldn't bring shit. I just started making instruments out of fucking coconuts and palm trees.
I love that answer. That's a good one. Dude, I can't wait. I'm so happy that you guys are back. I can't wait. I can't wait for your new record and everything that comes forward with Handguns. It's great to see that you guys are doing your thing.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate that. We're excited too. We're looking forward to the future. So,
you guys are gonna kill it, and I can't wait. So, all right.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Oh yeah, the last question I have. Fuck, I'm about to say goodbye, and I usually like to ask. I like to play music at the end of the episode, and it's your pick from Handguns. What song would you like to hear?
Good question. Let me think here. Damn.
You can pick more than
Throw
one.
me for a loop.
Sorry.
Shit. Let me think. Let's do. Hold on, I'm thinking. Trying to think. I'm like, what do you want people to hear? I have to even think about our fucking catalog. Let's do The Worst in Me.
The Worst in Me?
I'll put. Yeah, so I'm Disenchanted.
All right. I'll write it down. Perfect. All right. So, all right, at the end of the episode, it's going to be The Worst in Me by Handguns. That was Taylor, the lead singer. I hope you guys kill it. I can't wait. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode because this was fun. It's great to be back doing
Hell
the
yeah.
show. It's great back for me doing the show. It's been a couple weeks, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So, all right, until next week. Peace.
Later.
It brings out the worst in me. Breaks me just like a disease. A dark cloud that won't seem to let me be. Ruining everything. Miserable at my very best. A walking cliche like the rest. We say goodbye to